Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooky Checks and Horror Flex.
What was that impression?
I'm trying to be like 80s, like cool.
Oh, cool. You are cool.
Like totally killer. We are your hosts. I'm Emma.
I'm Allie.
If you don't know us, we are two best friends who like to recap our favorite horror films and drink and have hot takes and have a lot of fun while doing it. If you are a fan of the podcast and want to follow us on social media, we have an Instagram and a TikTok at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. And if you want to support the podcast, we do have a Patreon with lots of fun little goodies, including a Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks official book club that we just launched, so it's not too late to join. We also actually just recorded a little mini bonus content episode that will be uploaded there shortly with Allie and I just kind of asking each other some fun horror-related questions. So check us out there.
Our film today is the 2023 Totally Killer.
Totally killer.
Totally Killer, bro.
I don't know. It just reminds me of Totally Kyle.
What is that?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Okay, no.
From Nickelodeon.
No.
The Amanda Show. Totally Kyle.
Am I the worst?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what Totally Kyle is, but Totally Killer is what we're covering today. And we spoil the shit out of it. So if you haven't seen it and don't want to be spoiled, go watch it on Prime and then come back to us. But if you don't give a flying fuck, then come on this ride with us. And speaking of time travel, Emma, what have you been up to? He's showing me a picture of Totally Kyle.
The producer is bringing up photos of Totally Kyle.
Okay, now I remember. Anyways, what the fuck have you been up to, Emma?
Oh gosh, what have I been up to? I think that the last time I spoke to you guys, I was like prepping for one of my dearest friends, Carly's bachelorette. And that's like pretty much what I've been up to. And then, you know, just same old, same old. Also prepping for a very special event this weekend. Ollie, what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been up to a lot of things. First of all, I want to give a major shout out to Megan at Smart and Final and Encinitas. And she is amazing. I gave her a sticker like a couple weeks ago, and
she's been binging the episodes.
She's been binging, and she's like, you guys are amazing and have come so far. So thank you, Megan.
Yay, Megan.
Also, I want to shout out to Lisa and Dave, my parents, who have celebrated their 47th anniversary today, which is
woo!
Cheers to all of them.
That is huge.
Yeah. And what Emma was alluding to is this is going to come out after this, but we're super fucking excited for Midsummer Scream. So wait till you hear about what we come back with on that.
This episode will be coming out after we're home from Midsummer Scream. So go to our Instagram if you want to see our cool ass costumes that we wore. We're doing a little ode to Jennifer's body, a little ode to Midsummer, and really excited for that.
I can't fucking wait. But also I can't wait to fucking cheers you. But what are you drinking today?
Oh my God, you guys. I have to tell you what I've been turned on to, and I'm really fucking turned on.
Okay.
By this drink.
This is a weird way to say it. But
okay.
All right.
So I am having, the rosé is not really as important, but you need to start with rosé. So right now I'm having Yes Way Rosé. If you guys know that brand, it's a cute little summer rosé brand. But the key is that you chop up a couple of jalapenos.
Oh my God, you're still talking about jalapenos in your drinks. Okay,
you don't chop up like a couple actual jalapenos, but just like one jalapeno, maybe chop a quarter of it or less, and then drop a couple into your cup of rosé. I'm telling you, it has changed my whole life. And if you love spicy margs or anything that's like a little bit on the spicy side, I'm telling you, you're gonna love this. Try it and DM us because I want to hear if you like it.
No, don't, because just don't try it.
Don't let the man get you down. And the man is Allie.
I'm just saying no. Because I'm allowed to say no.
And Allie, what are you drinking?
Okay, bitch. I have my 3 beverages in front of me. I am drinking.
Earlier, she was like, I have 3 beverages. And she held up 4 fingers and it was cracking me up.
Sometimes it happens. It's a long day, you guys. I am drinking my signature White Claw. Please sponsor me. And I have my water in my big dumb cup. I'm also drinking a nice iced vodka from the 80s because that's where we're going to today.
Ooh, what kind of vodka? Just straight, right?
Sky?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just didn't know if you had anything else in it.
No, bitch.
That's brave as fuck.
Thank you.
Wow.
Cheers to episode 26.
Wow.
We're 26. We can drive a car, but that was last episode too. So bye.
You mean we can rent a car?
What did I say? Buy a car?
Drive a car.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, now getting into the actual film here and all of the fun details we have in store for you. So the synopsis of this film is when the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start.
I'm constantly like shocked at how short and sweet these synopsises are.
And how this basically tells you everything you need to know.
Like, do you need to watch the movie? I mean, please do.
Yeah, I mean, do it. This got a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which for the type of film it is, it's a little on the like campy side. I would say is pretty good.
I'd say it's pretty good. I think that's like pretty on par with what I think. For the Rotten Tomatoes, it's 87%.
That's pretty high, no?
Like, I feel like that's too high. And the audience score is 77%, which I guess is like fine.
I wonder if the critics were getting paid off for the tomato meter.
Oh my gosh.
There's probably a whole ring of like critic payoffs. It's like the dark web for critics.
That's the next podcast we're going to start.
Holy shit. It's an investigative podcast. Everybody tune in.
But those are killer scores.
Wow.
I know, that's so bad.
Are we like turning into our fathers?
Yeah.
Making a lot of dad jokes?
My bad.
I love it.
So the director of this film, okay.
Ninotchka.
Ninotchka, is that, okay.
Yeah, you said it right. That's perfect.
No, you said it first, so I just repeated you. But
Ninotchka Khan.
Ninotchka Khan, good for her. We love a woman director. She also directed Always Be My Maybe, and I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It is so cute.
I think that one stars Ali Wong, and then she's also produced, I think, Ali Wong's like comedy special or something like that. But we love Ninotchka. She is awesome. She is a really, really great director and producer. She also is super, super fun, and you'll hear it like throughout this film, but we love that she really strives for like inclusivity. And I love that she, in this film, really knocks on some of the old ways that people were in the 80s about bullying and body shaming and racism and stuff like that. But she has a way of hitting on those notes, but in a more funny way and making it not so serious, but still bringing those issues to light, which I really like.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about who's in this fucking film. We got Kiernan Shipka.
Kiernan Shipka. I feel like that's how her grandmama probably says it. Kiernan.
Her babushka.
Her babushka.
She plays Jamie in this. She was in Mad Men, if you watch that. And she's in Long Legs. Didn't you just go see that?
I'm trying to think of who she was in Long Legs. Unless she had a really small part, I do not remember her.
I don't know, bro. Look at her IMDb.
I believe you. She was Carrie Ann. Okay. Interesting.
Anyways,
I'm going to have to go and look at that a little bit.
So Kiernan was also in Long Legs, which my two dear friends right here have seen. She was also in Sabrina. She was Sabrina. So
like the new Sabrina.
Yeah, like the TV show. We love you, Kiernan Shipka. You're an icon. And you also know John Hamm, so can you just like have him talk to us? We also have Olivia Holt, who plays young Pam Miller. And she was also in that one show, Cruel Summer, and I didn't finish it because I have ADHD. Did you watch it?
No. Oh, how did we not?
This is the producer and Emma realizing that Kiernan was definitely in Long Legs. Wigs are a thing.
She was so creepy in that part, too. Well, okay, well, that makes sense now.
Sweet.
Fucking Carrie Ann. She was fucked up. Anyways.
Well, I can't wait to watch that and now know who she is in that movie.
Wow.
And then we have Lachlan Monroe.
Lachlan. What a fun name.
That's such an amazing name. And he plays adult Blake Hughes, which we'll come to know as dad. He was in Scary Movie, and Emma fucking loves this movie.
I love Scary Movie.
I don't, but so that's nice for you. He's also in White Chicks and Night at the Roxbury. All of these movies are movies that are not for my palate, but I'm so happy for you guys.
These are all for my palate, though. So,
and then we have Troy Lee Ann Johnson. Do we need 4 names? I mean, I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but she plays teen Laura Creston.
Oh my God, so beautiful.
She's gorgeous. And she's in Big Sky. I don't watch that, but she's really, really pretty.
Sweet.
And then there's Julie Bowen, who needs no intro unless you live under a rock, but she plays Pam Miller / Hughes, who plays the mom, and she's iconic. My first memory of her is in Happy Gilmore.
Yes, same.
And when she's like in the dream sequence, when she's like carrying the beers and like a little white lingerie, and like, you go, girl.
Little hottie.
Yeah, she's a little hottie, and she still looks the fucking same. Like, that's insane. And she was in Modern Family, which I've never seen, so my bad.
It's pretty good. I've seen a couple episodes of it, but the producer really likes it.
Oh, good for you, producer.
All right, I've got some totally killer fun facts for you, Allison. Well, first and foremost, I want to start off with Jamie, the character played by Shipka.
Kiernan.
Jamie is a ode to Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, so we all here love that.
Our Scream Queen.
Our Scream Queen. Another cool thing, too, is that the fringed jacket that Jamie wears throughout the entire film is very similar to the one that is worn by Sloane in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Something else that I wanted to note here, because it's going to come up several times within the film and probably like with us talking about it, is that Jamie alludes to the movie Back to the Future several times in this film, and there's several different like direct or inverted allusions to that movie. So for example, in Back to the Future, Marty, he tries to get his future parents together, while in this movie, you're going to see that Jamie tries to keep her future parents apart, which is kind of funny. And also like Marty, Jamie needs the help of the younger version of the genius who built the time machine to help her fix it and get her back home, which also aligns with Back to the Future, which is kind of cool.
Hot take. Never seen it. That's a whole problem. I understand. I see your face. Let's move on from it. Okay. So I'll watch it.
So what is that now? That is Back to the Future. What was the other one?
Goonies.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, we're going to table that for another time, but I think I think a bigger issue is at play here, where we need to start tallying all the films that Allie has not seen that are just like iconic films, no matter the genre, and she needs to watch them.
Can I ask you a question?
Answer.
Have you seen, what's the one that's like about like mob people? The Godfather. Have you seen The Godfather?
Many times.
Okay, I haven't.
Allison, have you seen Forrest Gump?
Okay, fuck you. Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't even know you.
Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's what you got in a friendship and me.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Okay, another fun fact here is that the killer wears a mask depicting the face of a grinning blonde-haired man. And this is designed by the makeup wizard, Tony Gardner. And Nanachka Khan, the director, she said that the mask had to originate in the 80s. So you wanted to have that kind of like nostalgic vibe. But she said in our movie, people still dress up like the killer in present day. So she wanted it to feel a little bit relevant. And they landed on the idea of this handsome man being really terrifying. And so they started kind of pulling from 80s heartthrob references like Kiefer Sutherland and Rob Lowe and Dolph Lundgren and even Johnny Bravo. And that's kind of how they came up with the killer mask for this film. And one thing I hate about it is that he has one fucking earring, like the guy in The Lost Boys.
Michael.
And it drives me insane. I don't mind if you are wearing an earring. I just want to put this out there. But I hate when people are trying to do it to be trendy. The producer just said, like Harrison Ford.
We both
He's got a stud. He doesn't have a dangle. A stud is better than a dangle in my eyes.
Did you say Johnny Bravo, by the way?
Yeah.
Was Johnny Bravo like a thing besides the cartoon character?
I don't know. That's a good question. They probably just modeled the hair kind of like Johnny Bravo.
I was like, this looks like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, that's how they got him.
From the cartoon.
Yep.
That I used to watch all the time.
Me too. Is that his? That was a good one.
It's
like
Elvis, but like blonde and I don't know. Just something to note here is Blake and Pam Hughes, who are the mom and dad, have that last name because it's a Breakfast Club reference. And there's a lot of John Hughes. There's a lot of Breakfast Club references in this movie, so get ready for that.
Guys, that's like pretty much my fun facts. That's pretty much all I got.
It's a newer film.
Some lore may come to light later on.
Yeah, I love lore.
All right, everyone. I'm going to transport us back to 2023.
Oh, boy.
As we jump in the time machine. And it starts with Halloween night 2023.
It's a cute little shot of trick-or-treaters just like walking down the street. And
It's very lively. People are celebrating.
Does it give you daggers that we can't, as adults in our 30s, trick-or-treat?
The last time I went to a Halloween celebration that lively, or like went to trick-or-treating that lively, was in 5th grade, I believe. 5th or 6th grade, when I was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. And I fucking killed it.
I bet you did. We're just sad we can't trick-or-treat anymore. And we are supposedly set in any town and anywhere America called Vernon. And this is also in tie back to fucking
John Hughes, baby.
John Hughes, because the film in The Breakfast Club is Vernon High School. So I'm like, what's this obsession with John Hughes from Babushka?
What?
What's her name?
Nanachka.
Okay, you guys all know I'm really bad at pronouncing things.
Nanachka.
Okay. And then we get this weird ass flashback to some high schoolers being murdered in 1987, and they're like as dolls. And I'm like, what the fuck is this kind of flashback? But that's totally fine.
It's kind of cool. It's like reenacting each of the like quote unquote murders, but in like a doll setting.
Yeah, but what kind of man does that? Because it's a man that's speaking about all of these murders. Speaking of those murders, it's a dude that is from the town, and he has a podcast talking about these 3 murders. And it's 3 16-year-olds who were murdered on or around Halloween.
The Sweet 16 killer we see wears the super creepy mask that I kind of alluded to during like the fun facts portion.
I like his outfit because it seems like something I would wear.
You would 100% wear this outfit.
It's like a black cotton hoodie and a leather jacket. And
honestly, I would wear that.
It's a vibe.
I'm pretty sure I did wear that in Boston.
I'm pretty sure we both wore that in Boston.
I'm pretty sure we did.
And I probably wouldn't wear the mask though because I'm claustrophobic, you know?
Well, and then we're seeing that every Halloween too, people are still dressing up like as the murderer. And Chris Dubasage,
who we mentioned as the podcaster.
Yeah, he is doing a tour, and he does this every single year where he brings people around where the Sweet 16 murders happened. And this kind of coincides with the podcast that he has. And Allie, I think you had a note on this.
It's giving American Horror Story, the first season, Murder House, where like a murder tour goes by a house, and it's an actual house where people live, and that's kind of consistent with this. And it's a walking tour, so I'm kind of into it. I think I'd probably do it.
I mean, we love a good tour.
We love a good haunted tour or murder tour, which is so macabre, but that's all right.
Well, and then we get introduced to Jamie, the teenage main character of the film.
She's a moody bitch, which I kind of like.
Well, and she's like in her house talking with her parents, and her mom comes to her room, and her mom is super nice, but she is having this like teenage angsty moment where she's at her mirror doing her makeup, and she's listening to loud music, and her mom's like, could you turn it down a little bit, please? And her mom like points out Jamie's Killer Instinct poster, which is like a band apparently. And she's like, ugh, do you have to have Eddie Royal on your wall? Like he was such a douchebag in high school, alluding to the fact that she went to high school with this man.
Jamie, being Jamie, says, well, he's amazing now because she's a moody teenager.
Yeah, she's defensive.
She puts on her mom's vintage white leather tassel jacket, and it's a definite staple in the movie, and I want one. Do I have one?
I think you have a fringe jacket. I just don't know if it's white leather.
Okay, cool. But something I'll note, spoiler alert, it's kind of something that keeps a part of her mom with her throughout this journey we're about to go on.
And Jamie is planning on going to a concert that night for Halloween. And as they're downstairs, her parents are kind of arguing with her about going. They're very skeptical and just want her to be safe. And her parents, were friends with the people who were murdered in 1987. So obviously a bit skeptical about her going out on Halloween night with what's happened historically.
I mean, obviously that's traumatic, which I would probably be scared as fuck too on Halloween if all my friends got murdered around then, which would suck because I love spooky season. So please
don't keep us from having fun.
Yeah, don't do that to us.
Unless we're going to get murdered. So.
Well, I'd prefer not to get murdered. Please. Thank you. But Pam, she alludes to the fact that she doesn't talk to her grandma anymore, which will kind of come into play a little bit later on. But just something of note is my mom is like my best friend. So this movie like makes me sad in parts of it because she's so like mean to her mom, and then they start to have these bonding moments. So
I think we all, most girls at least that are teenage girls, can relate to being a little bit of a brat to your mom when you're a teenager.
16's hard, dude.
And now that we are in our early 30s, we love our moms more than anything and wish that we weren't so bratty back then. But it's just part of puberty, man. Attitude.
Retrospect.
That was my dad's old band name.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Shout out Papa John.
Love you, John. Pam, the mom, kind of says, "You're going out? What the fuck? We love passing out candy together on Halloween. Why don't you just stay home and do that and skip the concert?" And Jamie's like, "Bitch, no." Again, daggers, because I would love nothing more than to pass out candy with my parents on Halloween. Something kind of cool, too, is their parents' costumes. Dad, what's his name? Blake
in the film, yeah.
He's wearing like a airbrush shirt.
That has an 8-pack on it.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm Zac Efron." Good for you, bro. Go for it. I want to get one of those, too, and just wear it around. And Pam, the mom, is dressed up as Molly Ringwald from The Breakfast Club, which we keep talking about, and we probably will keep talking about more. And I just want to give one quick shout out to our amazing best friend, Dakota Beauty Turner.
Don't you forget about us. Don't. That's a special song for us three.
Yes, we walked around a grocery store, putting our fist up in the air,
singing it.
Yeah, singing it and buying wine.
Yep, never forget.
At least Jamie's mom is like, don't you forget about me, but also don't you forget your pepper spray and your fucking protective crystal. And I love that for her because I love both of those things. We also see Chris Dubachek text Pam.
Very weird.
Very strange.
Dubachek.
Is that his name?
Dubasage. But I love how confidently you were like, Dubachek.
Fuck my life. Okay.
That's okay.
So Jamie goes to her friend Amelia's house and they're like, "Word, let's go to this concert together." And her dad's dropping her off and he's like, "Why don't you just knock on the door? She's not answering a text." And Jamie's like, "Heck no, Dad. That's so rude. Knocking on the door is rude." Okay. The youths. I don't get it. Okay.
There is a lot of alluding to the differences, I think, between youth and adulthood in this film and just how the parents grew up in the 80s and they just did things differently. And their kids, Jamie specifically, just does not do things the same. And it's kind of funny to see their friction.
I feel like
because of it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm so old school. Like, yeah, I'm going to fucking knock on the door.
Same. I'd be like, "Can you come out and play?"
Yeah, for sure. And we also get to meet Amelia's mom when she fucking answers her text or the door. And her mom is going to work, which is kind of weird. What does she do?
So she says that she works for a manufacturing company because Jamie's dad's like, "Oh, Lauren, where are you off to?" Like at night. And she says something along the lines of, "Well, it's weird, but manufacturing factories do not believe in Halloween, so I'm off to work." She kind of says it in like a spicy way.
Who the fuck doesn't believe in Halloween?
Basically, she's saying she doesn't get the night off just because it's Halloween.
That's a piece of shit right there.
And this is a callback and an important detail because things are going to change. I'm not going to say what, but if you've seen the film, then you know. At the very end of the film, Lauren is going to have a little bit of a better situation. That's all I'm going to say.
Fuck yeah, Lauren. Meanwhile, Miss Cutie Pants Pam, is at home all alone and she's answering trick-or-treaters. And something I'm confused about is, why is it totally dark in the house? Your husband is out and your daughter's out. And it's Halloween, where you're scared of anyways because your friends got murdered on Halloween.
Was it super dark? I think it was dark in parts of the house, but not the whole thing.
Oh, I'm night blind, you guys. So I don't.
Movie blind.
And movie blind. And I love that the only thing left in the candy bowl are Smarties. Remember Smarties?
Oh, ew, God.
Who the fuck wants a Smarties?
Exactly why they're left over.
I think my mom likes Smarties. So, Mom, you can have all the Smarties.
Well, and so Jamie's mom answers the door to another trick-or-treater, and they are in the Sweet 16 killer costume. She's not freaked out by this because people all around town for years have been dressing up like this. So she's not immediately freaked out. But then he does try to attack her. He shows her a knife and then they fight in the foyer of the home and get into a pretty intense tuffle. Scuffle? Tuffle? Scuffle.
I think those are both words.
Truffle.
Truffle. Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Anyways, he ends up killing Pam.
Yeah, he does end up killing her before the cops are able to arrive. And it's very, very sad. He is the Sweet 16 killer.
One more thing of note is why are we normalizing, just like in Scream, normalizing dressing up as like a serial killer in a town that's been traumatized by a serial killer?
It's a great question. And all I could say is we should kick those people in the nuts.
Let's kick them in the nuts or whatever else. Vagina.
Or their vagines.
And R.I.P. Pam.
R.I.P. baby.
Directly after Pam gets fucking yeeted, Chris Dubachek, what is his name? Dubachek? Oh my gosh.
Or as Jamie's dad says, douche-basage, I think.
I'm going to get that wrong every single time.
I love it.
But he's the podcast dude, and he's immediately at the house, immediately there to cover the case and do it on his live stream. Like, I get it, bro. Like, get those followers. But meanwhile, Jamie's like not well. She's crying in her room, but he's like, I gotta get these followers.
Well, then we see Jamie back at school, and the whole school is dealing with her mom's death and how the Sweet 16 killer is back. Everyone's kind of freaking out a little bit.
I feel like I wouldn't be back to school that soon? Question mark.
I guess we just don't know how much time has passed.
That is true. But while she's in her class, we see the principal, the PE coach, and the town sheriff, who we are going to meet again soon at a different age.
A younger age.
A younger,
if you will.
Yes.
One thing I also love, and Ali, you probably love this too, is that she's wearing her mom's vintage jacket still, and she is holding the crystal that her mom gave her.
I would do the exact same fucking thing.
Same, dude. Same.
Even living or not living, I would do the exact same thing.
Bury me in that jacket.
Honestly, should we get matching white fringe jackets?
I think so.
Cool. All right.
Yep. The PE coach, he tries to give some advice for self-defense. And this reminds me so much of Coach Carr in Mean Girls giving advice about sex. It's just so meaningless and comedic. It's fantastic.
He's basically saying, if you see a killer, the first thing you want to do is fucking run. And avoid the knife, keep your life. That should be on a t-shirt.
That should be what your motto is as a first girl.
Keep your life.
So that you're constantly reminding yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that. And then he leaves it off with Go Devils, which I guess is their fucking team mascot. Yeah. Cool. Keep it short and sweet, bro.
Well, and then during the day, Jamie's school, someone like the principal or a teacher or something, tries to come and get her because the cops want to question her about her dad and Chris Dubachek, the podcast guy. And she kind of refuses to answer any more questions.
It seems like this sheriff has always hated her dad. We'll see that throughout the kind of fucking film. And I'm going to say good for her for sticking up for herself against adults because that's a hard thing to do.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that they can't question her without a parent present if she's under 18.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
That's true.
Clearly people don't follow the rules.
Lawsuits are a thing, though.
They are. And then later that day, she goes to an abandoned theme park / science fair. And she meets up with her friend Amelia.
I'm super confused about this location because they call it the boardwalk, but is there a boardwalk?
I said the exact same thing to the producer when we were watching this the first time. I forgot if I said it at the top of the episode, you guys, but I had actually never seen this film until we decided to review it. So I just watched it maybe a week and a half ago. And that was one of my first questions was A, what the fuck is this place? And B, why is there a science fair here at an abandoned carnival theme park area that seems like it has a lot of liability issues?
However, can we go?
But can I go there?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Amelia is building a time machine for the science fair, and this is based on her mom, Lauren's design. So her mom is also really into science, and
okay, you had to say it like that?
That's how they say it in trivia here in San Diego when there's a science category. Science! Anyways.
I did not know that.
And Amelia is explaining that she has the machine set to the time of the first murder in 1987 to see if they can stop the killer from ever killing in the first place, hence preventing Jamie's mom's murder from ever happening.
Daggers. Amelia says it will need Wi-Fi to work. And I'm like, cute. But what if Wi-Fi isn't existing back then? And like, what the fuck are we going to do with that?
Yeah, it seems a little bit half-baked.
However, I would also do whatever it takes to make sure my mom was okay with the time travel machine. So I'd be like, fuck it, like, let's go.
Let's try it, at least.
Jamie's on her way home, and we see, as the viewer, an ominous figure behind her, Halloween style.
Stalking.
Yeah, like the killer basically stalking her, and she doesn't realize it. Like, bitch, turn around.
Bitch, turn the fuck around.
Know your surroundings.
And that night, Jamie and her dad have a conversation about her mom, Pam, and how her mom was friends with Chris Douchebasage and why she could have possibly been maybe texting him.
And her dad says she was only texting him because he was still investigating the case and trying to find the killer. That seems suspicious to me. Dad, be smarter. He also randomly explains, like, thank goodness your mom and I didn't get together in high school because it would have never lasted. They waited to be a couple until college. And I'm like,
Foreshadowing.
And then he says that they found out they were pregnant with Jamie on Quantum Leap. What is it called? Quantum Drop at the boardwalk.
Yep.
The abandoned.
It's like one of those gravity rides.
Fuck those rides.
Yeah.
Fuck those rides.
It's at that abandoned carnival place.
But basically, RIP again, and Dad leaves her with, just stop talking to Chris Dubasage.
There you go.
I got it. And leave it at that. Okay, like a fucking teen girl will listen to anything.
Right.
Like that, yeah.
So the next day, Jamie goes against her dad's wishes and she goes to meet with Chris Douchebasage. I just like saying that, honestly. And they talk about how he knew her mom and what the details of their relationship was.
And she straight up was like, did you have an affair with my mom?
And Chris said that they were just both interested in finding the killer.
Jamie also brings up how she has Chris Dubex.
Maybe we just say Chris.
Chris. She brings up how Chris had a dad who was also in journalism named Norm, and he got a Pulitzer Prize from the journalism stuff he did. And we can see some jealousy in his reaction. So it's disdain, it's jealousy, it's like daddy issues.
Trying to live up to his dad's shadow.
Yeah.
Totally. And he talks about a note that her mom got after the last murder back in 1987 that said, "You're next one day." And apparently she didn't tell anyone about it, so no one really knew.
And Chris says Pam knew about this shit, and she's like, fuck this, and bounces.
And then that night, Jamie makes her way back to the abandoned theme park and tells Amelia that she needs her help in catching the Sweet 16 killer.
I am just so confused about why they keep going back to this fucking abandoned theme park. And do they not watch Dateline?
I think kids just do sketch shit. I literally used to go in this abandoned field behind the Santee water tower with some of my friends.
No.
And I do not know why we thought that that was safe to do, but we did it numerous times. You just like don't see danger. You don't have a danger filter when you're a kid.
Okay, well, that's extremely sketchy,
It
but
is.
that's a story for a different time.
Well, and as Jamie and Amelia are talking, Jamie gets attacked by the Sweet 16 killer and hides in the time machine that Amelia is making.
I'm curious as to why fucking Jamie goes into a small rectangular box to hide.
It's a great question.
Find a different hiding place, bitch, or call the cops.
Alex, I'm going to take stupid for 500.
Yes, I agree.
Well, and the killer ends up stabbing the machine, and it, of course, malfunctions. It's metal going and conducting with electricity, so it's not going to be a good outcome.
There's a lot to talk about, like the mechanics around everything, and I'm pretty sure I can speak to both Emma and I's knowledge that we are not the ones to ask about those kinds of things.
Yep. No.
We don't know how time travel works, but good for them for making it happen.
So after this attack/rendezvous in the time machine, Jamie arrives in 1987 and she's super disoriented. She's confused. And now it's an active theme park in the daytime instead of a creepy one that's abandoned.
It low-key reminds me of the San Diego County Fair. It's a vibe. Count me in. I don't know.
Well, and good on her, because I feel like she quickly realizes that she's traveled back in time, and she's like, I'm going to find my fucking teenage mom, Pam.
So she's in the photo booth, right? So
It's a photo booth / time machine. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But she somehow finds an out of order sign. How the fuck did she find an out of order sign? Good for her for being a resourceful bitch. And she puts it on there so nobody fucks with it while she's trying to figure shit out.
Love it. And it's also right by the Quantum Leap ride that her dad was talking about at the top of the film.
Aw. So Jamie comes across this woman with a fucking vibe that is wearing a full-ass jumpsuit, got a little jazzercise outfit, and she asks her, hey, what year is this? And she says, oh, it's 1987. She's like smoking her smokes with the blue eyeshadow. She's like, I know it's 1987 and I haven't even tried Coke yet. But what her little two kids are with her. I'm just like into her vibe. She gives zero fucks, but I feel like she's also a great mom. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And she offers Jamie a ride to school, and Jamie's like fucking stranger danger, and which I would probably do too. Actually, no. I'd probably be like, okay. The mom is like, girl, do you think a harmful person would wear this kind of outfit? And alludes to her pink ass like jazzercise outfit, which I kind of want. Maybe for Halloween?
Great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
And I'll be the abandoned theme park.
Wow, I can't wait to see that. You could be the beaver.
No. Okay, so anyways, then Jamie arrives at Vernon High School back in 1987. Something that's really funny here is that back in 87, they were called the Vernon Red Devils, and this alluded to Native Americans. Jamie makes a comment about that being super racist, and she understands why now in present day, when she's in high school, that they're just the devils.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
It's like that's like the first iteration of her calling out problematic behavior back in the 80s. We're going to have several more instances of this throughout the film.
Jamie loves to call out problematic shit, which good for her, but know that you're in 1987. Okay, girl?
Gotta accept it for what it is.
Let's get to our goal and then go back to problematic shit. And she tries to enroll as an exchange student named Jamie LaFleur. And she's just like, I am Jamie from
Canada.
From Prince Edward Island, Canada. And the secretary does not give any fuck. And she's like, I so don't care. Here's your goddamn schedule. She tries to get out of gym class because she says, I'm not a gym girly. And I'm like, bitch, same. And fun fact, I got out of gym class my entire freshman year because...
How?
My gym teacher was a man.
And you knew how to manipulate the men?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry, Carly Clark. She listens. Her dad was the gym teacher.
Well, and then during gym class, Jamie runs into the three girls who got murdered in 1987. Tiffany, Marissa, and Heather. And while playing dodgeball, she also runs into her mom. And this is a super funny part because her mom calls her a bitch.
Pam also annihilates her with a dodgeball. And I'm like, what the actual fuck?
And Pam is fully a bitch to Jamie in the scene and says, maybe you should fuck off and die. Jesus Christ.
And Jamie's like, Jesus, mom. And then she starts to go into, ay, mamacita.
Trying to play it off.
Yeah, play it off. And I'm like, smooth. But then it doesn't leave her well because Pam knows Spanish and kind of fucking chews her out in Spanish.
Yep.
I would too because that was my minor. Fuckers.
There you go. And then Jamie leaves school and goes directly to the sheriff's station to report, quote unquote, a murder that hasn't happened yet.
And we learn that, okay, what's her name though? Kara. I'm great at names, guys.
Basically, we learn that Kara, who is the sheriff in present day, is actually the daughter of the sheriff that Jamie is talking to in 1987. Does that make sense?
Yes. Jamie references Back to the Future and they're like, whatever. And then Jamie leaves and Kara's dad, whatever the fuck his name is, I'm just going to call him Sheriff. He's like, I never liked time travel movies. They never make any sense. And I love that movies sometimes make fun of themselves.
Yeah,
Good for
that's
them.
a great line.
Yes.
And the sheriffs obviously don't believe her. And Jamie deduces that she needs to find Lauren, Amelia's mom, to let her know what's happening. And Jamie tells her that she really needs her help to catch the killer and modify the time machine to send her back home to present day. And obviously Lauren has a hard time sort of believing this, but she almost believes her a little easier than I would have thought.
I thought she was just like, okay.
Yeah, she's kind of like, I think she even alludes a little later. She's like, I can't believe in time travel and not think that there's a possibility that someone from the future may come back at some point.
What a life to live.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that really like helps a plot hole right there. Well, not a plot hole, but
what would you
the
do if somebody,
unbelievability.
like,
if I was into time travel, like truly a scientist person or an engineer that was building something, I would invite a future person to come see me.
Same.
In the past. I would come with open arms. Come on in. You have shelter. You have food.
Would they invite us, though, if we were a time traveler?
We're like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, I love that.
In the best way.
Yes. Oh, which is like scary, but yes.
So then Jamie takes Lauren to see the time machine that she's talking about. And they talk about how the girls, Teen Pam and her snobby friends, dress up as various characters that actress Molly Ringwald portrayed. And they call themselves the Mollies, which is a nod to the film Heathers.
I love that movie.
Heathers, love that film. The cast recently just got together.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it somewhere. I saw some kind of article. It was really cool.
Oh my God, I would die.
Yeah.
Well, my question to you is, which Molly Ringwald would you dress up as?
Easy. Pretty in Pink. That was it is one of my mom's favorite films, and we watched it a ton when I was younger. More than Breakfast Club, more than 16 Candles, more than any of that. We love Pretty in Pink.
I love Pretty in Pink. I would either be Molly from 16 Candles, and I would also be her from The Stand, because I love Stephen King, and she survives in that movie. Oh, spoiler.
There you go.
During all of this, Lauren is trying to explain quantum mechanics to Jamie while they're working on the time machine. And Lauren's like, yeah, it's so basic. And I'm like, okay, for sure. I didn't take any of these classes, so I don't know anything. But Jamie also brings up the basically butterfly effect. So she knows like she might fuck shit up with the time travel and change shit.
That if she fucks up her parents' meeting and getting together and having her, that she might become just a little speck in the universe and not have a home to go back to if they don't have her for some reason in the future.
But maybe a speck in the universe isn't a bad thing, because maybe you become a star.
Okay, so moving on. And so Lauren and Jamie deduce that when the killer originally stabbed the time machine with the knife in present day, it must have made the time machine somehow work with the metal of the knife being an electricity conductor, is I believe how it worked. Somebody fact check me on that.
Okay, well, no, this doesn't make sense. But as a producer would say, it's a movie.
Well, and they also deduce, that's my new favorite word right now.
Deduce. I love deduce.
That they might be able to stop the murder.
Sorry.
So they deduce that they might be able to stop the murders from happening and save Jamie's mom by proxy. So later, back at home, quote unquote, in present day, the sheriff is investigating what happened at the abandoned theme park where Jamie got attacked and where the time travel happened. And Jamie's dad shows up and gets into a bit of a tiff with Chris, the podcast guy. And there's like, why the fuck is he there?
That's an amazing question, but I think we kind of learn more about that later. But there's definitely some animosity between them, and bros being bros, but not
bros being hoes.
Yes.
Amelia also comes back into picture, and she says that she knows where Jamie is and that she's pretty sure Jamie is back in 1987 because she used the time machine. She's just trying to tell him, like, this is what's happening.
And Kara is like, time machine, like, what the fuck?
Kara, the present day sheriff.
Kara, the current day sheriff in 2023 is like, okay, bitch, a time machine for sure. I'm going to solve this case with actual facts and data and analysis and fingerprint, whatever, you know.
Fingerprints.
Whatever they do. And I mean, if somebody came to me and said, yo, there's something happening with time travel, I'd be like, let's go.
You would believe it.
Yeah, 100%.
So then later that night, Jamie and Lauren, Amelia's mom, they go to Tiffany's birthday party, and it is a banger. And as they're trying to get in, they actually get denied.
I mean, fuck that shit. Like, that's
Rude.
That's so rude. But we get a flash of these 3 people on the porch who are the 3 authority figures we saw at the top of the film.
In 2023, present day.
Yes. And one was future principal Doug. And one was the fucking gym teacher Randy. And then we go to Sheriff Kara.
And they're all teenagers at this point.
At this point, yes. I know it's confusing, but... So... Doug, Lauren, and Jamie get denied access to this party.
Basically because they're quote-unquote nerds.
Rude.
Or losers or what have you.
He's like, fuck you guys, you can't come in. And I'm like, okay. And they go around a corner of the house. This house looks bitchin', by the way. Like, it looks like a rager of a party. And I don't remember this in high school.
Same.
Was I not cool enough, you guys? Oh, don't answer.
You were so cool. I don't know. I didn't know you in high school, but I deduce that you were cool.
Now this is the tracker for deduce. That's your new word to track. So they're going around the corner and they're trying to get into the party somehow. They're trying to hop the fence and Doug is like, here, let me help you. And he helps Jamie and Lauren over the fence and he says, okay, cool. Just come and open the door for me so I can enter the party.
But they're distracted. They're trying to find Tiffany, trying to kind of stop her murder from happening. But as they are looking for Tiffany in the backyard, they find Jamie's dad. But this is him from the past. And he's also like a major hottie. And even Jamie is like, whoa, who is that guy as he's getting out of the pool?
And all of the Mollies are dressed up as different Molly Ringwalds. Again, how do you have that much commitment?
That's just their style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're in it to win it.
I remember my emo phase. It was never a phase, Mom.
I was going to say, it's not a phase.
It was never a
I'm
phase.
still in it.
Yeah. Jamie is going up to the Mollies and Pam is saying, get bent, you fucking bitch. And gets her thrown out of the party again. And
By Randy.
And Teen Doug is outside and he's like, oh, I thought you just weren't opening the door for me, but now I'm kind of happy you didn't.
He's like, basically, you guys were getting bullied, so I'm happy that I didn't go inside.
Jamie somehow fucking gets back inside the house and she's like, bitches, shit's about to get fucked up. We need to start moving our bodies and making shit happen. And Pam also seems to start like she's understanding Jamie more, which is good, like mother-daughter bonding, but like at a teenage age.
Yeah. And Tiffany and Blake end up having an argument or some kind of fight because Tiffany is, I guess, hooking up with Eddie Royal, if you guys remember us talking about him at the top of the episode.
So while she's talking with Tiffany, Jamie says, oh my God, you made out with Eddie Royal from Killer Instinct? And Tiffany says, wait, they know who Eddie Royal is in Canada? So he's like fucking famous, right? So I better go fucking bang him. I'm going to shoot my shot.
There you go. Tiffany and Eddie are making out on a waterbed. And I just want to say that this totally reminds me of the kill on the waterbed in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
I have a really random question. Are waterbeds comfortable? Have you been on a waterbed?
I have. I've never slept on one. I have sat on them before. I could see the appeal.
Yeah.
But that's too much movement for me.
Yeah, same.
They still kind of move around a lot.
I would probably not be chill with that.
Yeah, same. Well, and then Jamie is desperately trying to keep Tiffany from getting murdered before her time of death, which apparently, according to Chris Dubassage and his podcast Recollection, was just after midnight. So Jamie's really trying to keep that from happening. And it turns out that Jamie interacting with the quote unquote Mollies has altered time just a little bit and a little bit of history. And Tiffany ends up in another room than what Jamie originally anticipated. And she gets murdered by the Sweet 16 killer because it's not necessarily going exactly to the way that Jamie knows the murder story to have happened. So everyone's obviously freaking out, and the sheriffs from the past come to investigate, and Jamie is trying to tell them that she tried to warn them, and Pam ends up defending her and telling the sheriffs that it wasn't her that had anything to do with it, and kind of clearing like Jamie's name a little bit from the whole thing. I mean, the sheriffs still aren't believing her that this has to do at all with time travel, but at least it's kind of getting her out from maybe being some sort of a suspect or anything. But there's definitely some serious judgment going on here by the sheriff.
Also, just some nepotism because, like, Kara's there. She's at this weird crime scene, and her dad is like, I got you, sweetheart. Just go home.
Yeah, he just totally blows her off. Like, she could have totally been the killer.
Yeah.
Totally killer.
Oh, there we go. Again, Pam is now being more on Jamie's side, which is nice. Like, come on, you guys, let's bond some more.
Totally.
Mother-daughter bonding.
And so Jamie and Lauren walking Pam home because Pam was weirdly walking home by herself and not worried at all about a murder that just happened to her best friend. And Jamie tells her that she's psychic and that she needs to help them and stop the rest of the murders.
During this conversation, I thought it was so funny. Pam was like, I didn't even really like Tiffany. She was funny, but she wasn't funny. She was like mean funny.
She's like, I don't care that she's dead. It's fine.
Pam then goes, okay, well, how did you know Tiffany was in danger? And she says she's psychic. And she pulls out her crystal that her mom, Pam gave her. And all I'm saying is everybody charge your crystals because that shit has energy. But when young Pam sees the crystal, she's like, that looks legit.
Well, and Jamie warns Pam that she and all of her friends are in danger because of that killer. As they're walking Pam home, she ends up bringing Jamie and Lauren to her house, weirdly, but okay, cool. Love this like impromptu girl time. And they watch some sci-fi movies and try to talk about their next move.
I love that Pam is low-key into these sci-fi horror films. I wasn't sure what they were actually watching. I was like, is this Reanimator? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're like sci-fi horror. And I think she tells them that she's like normally embarrassed or doesn't want people to know, or people find it surprising maybe when they find out that she likes these kind of movies or something like that.
She was like, if you fucking tell anybody, I will kill you.
Okay, yeah, so pretty intense.
Yeah. But embrace your freak, girl.
Is somebody gonna
match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Anyways, she then starts, because she knows now that Jamie can, quote unquote, see into the future or knows the future. She asks if the machines will kill us in the future.
She's like, will they kill us all?
I'm like, that's so Terminator. But Jamie says, no, basically, they rip apart the fabric of our society with dance videos on TikTok. And Pam says, oh, they use dance against us?
She's so upset.
But however, Pam, I rely on TikTok for levity. So there's that.
So yeah, you could argue that it's ripping apart the fabric of society, or you could argue that it's helping it.
Yeah. I'm here for the
TikTok
fabric.
is the new Google. That's all I have to say.
Well, there's a whole argument right there.
Oh, let's get into that later.
Okay.
So then Jamie really plays into this whole psychic thing and says that from her thoughts, Marissa is going to be the next murder at a cabin in the woods.
Also a good movie.
Very good movie.
And Jamie says, can you think of anybody who doesn't like the mollies or who may want to hurt you? And Pam starts to be like, no, of course not. And then she says, wait. And she rattles off a bunch of people. And I'm like, okay, this sounds
the classic. No, but like this person, this person.
Maybe these people want vengeance on us. She also mentions Fat Trish, which is important. And
keep that in your pocket for later.
Keep that in your little back pocket of your Levi's jeans that are boot cut, because 80s, I don't know. What did they wear in the 80s?
Flare.
Okay. Whatever cut they wear in the 80s.
Boot cut or flare.
Keep that in there.
Yeah.
And Pam's sweet mom, which would be Jamie's grandma, comes down to the basement and says, hey, in a very sweet voice, hey, do you need anything? And Pam is very rude to her. And I have 3 points here. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Be nice to your mom, everyone. And this indicates why maybe adult Pam doesn't speak to her mom, which she kind of talks about at the top of the film. And I can also see in this moment why Jamie realizes she needs to be nicer to Pam and regrets how she had been speaking to her at the beginning of the film as well. So like
before her mom was murdered.
Correct. Yeah. So daggers, but be nice to everyone. Yeah. Okay, fuckers? Jamie says, hey, be nice to her. And Pam says, okay, so what? Do you have like a great relationship with your mom? And Jamie says, no, but I wish I did. And I wish I would have told her I love her more. And Pam said something really funny. She's like, okay, I'm telling you this as a friend, but nobody wants to hear about how much you love your mom. And I'm like, fuck off, everybody. I will shout it from the rooftop about how much I love my parents. Be nice to everyone.
Moral of the story, people. And Jamie also accidentally reveals that Pam at some point is supposed to end up with Blake as they're talking about who could have possibly committed these murders. And Pam gets very excited about this idea.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have sex with Blake. Jamie says, no, you need to wait for this relationship. And what deters a teenager more than saying you need to wait?
Literally telling them they can't do something.
Yeah, like it's fuel on the fire.
Literally.
Pam also mentions how Randy may have a vendetta against the Mollys because none of them went to the school dance with him. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. So then we get another quick glimpse back to the present, or I guess forward to the present, where Amelia, Lauren's daughter, is trying to make a replica time machine in her garage. And Chris, the podcast guy, so weird that he comes over to a teenager's house just willy-nilly. He comes into her garage and shares with her that Tiffany's murder details have now changed. And they end up looking at these old high school yearbook photos that he, Chris, took at Tiffany's birthday party back in 1987. And they find that Jamie is there. And that her actions back in 87 are definitely altering their recollections of the past and altering kind of some of the details within the murders.
They also bring up, actually, Amelia brings up the Mandela effect, which as a millennial, we kind of been hearing about a lot because the Berenstain Bears, do you remember that?
I was a Berenstain Bears.
I don't remember what I was.
Also, okay.
Also, Fruit of the Loom, the logo changed.
Weird.
Yeah, yep. Speaking of all of those things, Chris mentions Eddie Royal as a suspect of the murders. And Amelia's like, dude, you mean this fucking
emo lead singer?
Yeah, like, I'm like, he's a Dave Matthews Band guy. And
so he's basically totally changed from the way that he was at the top of the film. Like at the top of the film, he was the lead singer of Basic Instinct, which seemed like kind of a heavy metal band.
And it was Basic. Was it Basic Instinct? That's
Killer
a movie.
Instinct. Sorry.
Oh my god!
Sorry, some kind of instinct. Killer Instinct.
And now it's called A Waterbed Away. But get it, because like that's how Tiffany died, on a waterbed.
Yeah, and he's a tortured poet now.
He
had some trauma.
All right,
that.
Taylor Swift. Long story short, long story long. Please don't let creepy Chris into your house without a supervised adult.
Boom. Done. The next day at school back in 87, we see Norm Dubasage, Chris's dad, and he is outside the school covering the murder. And he is a well-renowned journalist, like we kind of mentioned at the top of the film, and he's just doing his normal sort of news coverage.
And who we've alluded to that potentially his son Chris is jealous of.
Yes.
Jamie asks young Lauren if her future parents like fuck shit up and start to get together before their time or do anything else, will she be able to get back to the future? Wait. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, yes, that is right.
And have things be back to normal. And young Lauren is like, no, you'll just have nothing to go back to. Cool.
Sweet. And so Jamie meets up with the gang, is what I'm going to call them. This is, the Mollys. This is Pam, Blake, Randy, Kara, kind of that whole crew.
And they start to talk about Fat Trish again. And at least Jamie at some point was like, don't call her Fat Trish, but that's what they keep calling her. Don't bully people. Get it? Get it. They mentioned that they bullied her at some kind of sleepover just to get some weird ass information out of her. And that bullyment included drinking. So she ended up drinking and driving and she died. Don't drink and drive.
Yep.
Future PE teacher Randy is like, whatever, I'm a better driver when I'm drunk, so fuck off. Again, don't drink and drive, please.
Do not drive drunk.
But that was funny of him to say. But mom, Pam, is sticking up for Jamie, and at least Pam is sticking up for Jamie and also being like, what the fuck, let's stop people from dying.
Yeah, 100%. And then Jamie finds her mom later on flirting with Blake, and it's worrying her that they're going to get together before they are supposed to. Supposed to. And then during science class, they all talk about how one of the Molly's birthdays is coming up, Marissa's, and Jamie's very concerned that they're going to celebrate at the cabin in the woods, which is where the next murder takes place. But she kind of gets them to decide to celebrate in the city at one of Marissa's parents' condos rather than the woods where Marissa is supposed to be murdered, according to history. And as this is all happening, Jamie also becomes lab partners with a guy who's a little concerning. His name's Damon, and his behavior is a bit weird. He's kind of making some weird sketches in his notebook, and I think it sort of raises a red flag for Jamie a little bit. After school, now we are getting ready for Tiffany's birthday, and the Mollys pick up Jamie for the ride into the quote-unquote city for Marissa's birthday. And they tell her that Damon, her lab partner, is notoriously violent, and he is Fat Trish's brother, which makes Jamie think that he could potentially be a suspect for the murders. And one of the Mollys is like, yeah, oh, you mean Lurch, when Jamie's talking about him, because that's a nickname that they gave him. And nicknames are mean, you guys. He's definitely more of a rat man than a Lurch. In the nicest way. Because, Allie, you're also a rat girl. So
I am a rat girl, yes.
And I'm a rat being.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just wanted to be included.
So basically, they're just saying they don't mind Lurch. I mean, Damon, but they deem him Lurch. While they're in the car and talking about all this random shit and going on their trip, Jamie gets tired, as you would if you were trapped in some kind of time vortex, I would say. Marissa looks back and is like, oh, you're getting sleepy in the car, and oh, it's your nap time. And I'm like, bitch, we all need a nap time. I'm just saying that because I'm tired.
I also nap almost every single day,
Yeah.
so I'm right there with you.
You try getting along without a nap, huh? So Jamie does nap in the car, and they end up getting to this fucking cabin, and Jamie's like, what the actual fuck? You said we were going to a condo, and they were like, oops.
Yeah, she's like, we were supposed to go somewhere in the city. She's like, I never said city.
A cabin and a condo are very different.
Yeah.
While Jamie is freaking the fuck out and saying, you guys, we have to leave literally right now, Marissa screams and is like, oh my God, I forgot to bring vodka. And I just love
carelessness.
Yeah, the carelessness and like where their mindset is, the priorities, priorities, vodka.
She gotta have her vodka.
Yeah.
As everyone's freaking out in different ways. One for vodka and one because she's at a cabin in the woods. That's creepy as fuck.
Evil Dead much?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Randy, Blake, and Kara drive up in a car, and everyone is basically ready to party.
They're all like, yo, we brought quote unquote brownies and vodka. And Randy, my guy, who is the drunk driver, the PE teacher, is like, you guys need to fucking catch up. I'm already too deep, and I drove awesome. Imagine your future PE teacher being like that.
Honestly, kind of.
Oh my God. Now that you made me think about that, okay, maybe you're right. Inside, Jamie begins to be like, yo. There are some rules that we have to go through for tonight. Nobody goes anywhere alone. Nobody goes outside for any reason. So it sounds like they're getting ready for like
a lockdown.
Yeah. Or like Mogwais to be turned into gremlins. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Specific rules.
Yeah. Very, very
No
specific.
feeding after midnight.
Exactly.
Don't get them wet.
Yeah. But immediately Blake is like, okay, fuck this. Let's go skinny dipping in this hot tub, bitch. Also, this could be hot time machine.
Als, I'm so happy you said that because I had a lot of parallels to Hot Tub Time Machine as well. I kind of wish it would have somehow been connected where the hot tub was the time machine.
Okay.
Well, and this hot tub situation also kind of reminds me, Allie, of after your wedding, a bunch of us went in the hot tub naked. And I want to say that it was all women that went in, and we were like witches in the moonlight, just in the water. And it was so fun and freeing in the middle of the woods.
This is all true.
Allie's giving me a funny
I'm
look.
giving you the eyes because I want to remind you that I love you.
Thank you.
And my parents do listen.
Your parents would love to know that we went skinny dipping
they
in
already
the hot
know.
tub. Yeah, I'm like, this is not a weird thing that is surprising.
But meanwhile, while all this is happening, Kara is talking to Jamie about like the brownies, and she's like, they're special and blah, blah, blah. So basically they have weed brownies. So everybody's fucking high.
High as hell. So then Jamie tricks the gang into coming back inside. And she says, there's pizza inside. And then Randy.
That would work on me regardless of how we're high or drunk or not. Randy goes inside too, and he's like, whoa, if you're not going to be fun, you can't come into the party. You can enjoy your trees, bitch. And I'm like, I love how your future PE teacher is just like the bully. But this makes sense.
Well, and he locks her out, which is so funny.
Yeah.
And as she's trying to find a way back in, she thinks that someone might be in the house, and she's freaking out.
So back in the kitchen, Heather is like, fucking bitch, there is no pizza. And most of them decide to split up to find the pizza.
They're like, maybe she hid it.
Because that makes sense. I mean, but if I were promised pizza too, I would go to the ends of the earth to fucking find it.
True. And as Jamie's outside, she's going from window to window, door to door, and she remembers that she locked them all in preparation for everyone to stay inside and be kind of locked down. And she goes to one window and sees Kara through the window and tries to warn her, but Kara is super high and way too high to comprehend. And Jamie's trying to tell her, I think someone's in the house. And Kara's like, yeah, I'm in the house, which is so funny. It's hilarious.
Meanwhile, Marissa is up in this like master bedroom, which looks fucking bitchin'. She has like a full bar up there. She's making little cocktails. Not little, actually, they're huge. She's pouring vodka in these solo cups, just full ass vodka. And she's like, I'm going to start making cocktails if anybody wants to stop being lame and start having fun. I love her bad girl energy, but you're asking to be killed.
100%.
Meanwhile, fucking Pam is in bed with Blake, even though Jamie said not to do that. Although, if somebody told you that when you were 16, would you follow those rules? No.
Probably not.
So she's like, oh shit, Jamie's psychic, and I forgot that the killer was coming to this house tonight.
So at this point, things have shifted a little bit, and we're running into the same situation where Jamie thinks that Marissa was the next to get murdered, but she is now witnessing from outside a window that as Heather is taking a little snooze on a bed, the killer is inside the cabin and about to go after Heather. And so she tries to warn her through the window in the cabin. So Heather and the killer end up having a scuffle. She kicks him and he kind of throws her down the stairs, and he ends up stabbing her. And Blake interferes as this is all happening and ends up getting stabbed as well, but he doesn't die. Heather is the only one that gets killed from this.
Everybody kind of gets yeeted in some kind of way, but Heather specifically gets yeeted in a RIP way.
Well, and then Jamie and Pam come into the scene, and the killer manages to escape without killing them or doing anything to them at all. Then after the murder happens, the surviving gang is at the sheriff's station waiting to be questioned when Jamie tries to give the chief, or the chief sheriff guy, a piece of the killer's DNA, but they're not that advanced yet.
She literally hands them pure evidence, which would be extremely useful.
She's like, you can find their handprints. Go for it.
Yeah, it would work in these days, but she hands it to them and says, can't you just plug it into the database? And they're like, what the fuck database do you mean?
They don't even know what DNA means.
But I looked it up, and in 1986, DNA database shit was discovered? Question mark.
Okay. So it's new to market
Oh, okay.
at that point.
Yeah. Oh.
And not quite with them.
Not in this town of Vernon.
Okay.
Correct.
Got
Okay.
it. That makes sense.
Got it. Cool.
Blake then kind of turns to Kara and asks where she was during the murder because Kara was the only one fully unaccounted for that was by herself. And where was she when Heather got murdered? And she's like, fuck you, and leaves. She gets really upset about it.
Damn, I guess if you're the sheriff's daughter, you can just fucking get away with whatever and leave whenever you want.
I guess. Jeez. Jamie isn't exactly sure what to do next because everything is changing in terms of the way/order people are dying that she knows history to be. But because she's in the past, things are moving. Time is a little different. The order of people dying has been changed up.
Butterfly fucking effect, dude.
Yeah. And the next day at school, Jamie is talking with Lauren about how she's not sure what's happening and what really to do next. And I love that Jamie brings up the possibility that maybe 2 killers, like in Scream.
And I love that she brought up Scream because I feel like this movie is a mix of Scream, The Final Girls, I Know You Did Last Summer, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, mostly because of the jacket that we talked about. A lot of those movies. It's a mix of a lot of those movies that we love. Would you consider this a MacGuffin?
I don't think so.
Okay, cut that.
But good question.
Speaking of Scream, Randy. We have a character.
There is a Randy in this.
We have a character named Randy in this, and we know we love a Randy who knows all of his horror films in our Scream franchise.
I don't like the Randy in this one, though. We like the Randy in Scream.
I kind of like the Randy in this one, too.
You do? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and Lauren is like, what is Scream? And Jamie has to explain to her, Scream is not out for you yet. She says, you're going to eventually find this awesome horror movie called Scream, and it's going to star Drew Barrymore, but then it doesn't. So I guess maybe that is a MacGuffin.
That's the MacGuffin I was talking about.
There you go. That's the connect.
We didn't talk about that when we did that. Go back to episode whatever.
The producer said it's not a MacGuffin, just a bamboozle.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on. Jamie and Lauren notice the slightest signal on Jamie's phone as Lauren is showing her this prototype time machine that she tried to make to really help her to get back into the future.
I want to know what model of iPhone she has because I know mine doesn't last that long.
Oh, like your battery life?
Yeah.
Good question.
And she's been in the future for like how many days?
At least a few.
Yeah.
Right, at this
so,
point?
I mean,
Good question.
yeah.
Jamie and Lauren check out the signal that she has in the battery life, and Lauren figures that she probably only has about 7 hours of battery life left in her phone until she's stuck in the past forever. So then they talk about how Heather, or what was supposed to be Heather, is supposed to be killed that night at the Halloween carnival. So now that Heather is dead, it's got to be one of the remaining gang. So Blake, Randy, Kara, Marissa, Pam. It can be really any one of those at this point because the plan has truly gotten off track.
My heart is focused on a Halloween carnival. Can I go?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. You're invited.
fantastic.
Yep. And Lauren is pretty confident that she can send Jamie home if they hijack the broadcast that is supposed to be at the carnival that night. And she gets really excited about it. Jamie is at a little bit of a crossroads because she wants to go home, obviously, to the future, but she also feels like she can't leave until she figures out who the killer is and also helps to stop her mom's future murder.
Yeah, I would have been dead by now. Because Jamie's not a first girl, she's a final girl. She's sticking around and she sees Blake and Pam canoodling at school. And she's like, hey, too horny, too soon. In her brain, she's like, if you fuck up me being born, then I'm stuck in 87 for forever. So, like, fuck you guys.
So, like, give it a rest.
Too horny, too soon.
And then Jamie sees Damon pull up to school, and he's looking, not going to lie, a little creepy in an old brown van that we also saw parked outside of the party during the very first murder. It was a small detail.
Just because he has like a van, I know it's creepy, but
I agree.
doesn't make him a killer.
I know. We're judging a book by its cover.
Exactly.
And Damon catches Jamie lurking around his van when she later takes a break during class.
He says, oh my God, take anything but the video games, please. This little cutie patootie. He's just mostly concerned about his video games.
Doug walks up. And if you guys remember, we talked about Doug a little bit, but the last time we saw him was when he got kicked out of the party, also at Tiffany's house.
I'm like, okay, so you're also a hall monitor? Like,
yeah,
interesting.
They talk with Doug about how it wasn't him or Eddie who committed the murders. I was going to say Lurch, but Damon and Jamie are chatting, and Doug, who has come up to them and he's hall monitoring. They talk about how Damon and Eddie could not have been responsible for the murders. Later that day, Jamie goes to meet up with Lauren at the theme park Halloween carnival. Lauren tells her that she needs something that will disrupt gravity in order to make sure that the machine potentially works. And they both look straight to the quantum drop ride.
Who the fuck remembers this ride? Because I am so triggered by it. Like, I have weird memories of being on this kind of ride. Also, was it around in the 80s?
I think so. It's been around a long time.
Damn, physics.
And it's still around.
No, I know. I remember even just watching this, I was like getting nauseated because
I don't think I've ever been on it because I'm a puss.
Oh, you're a puss. So Lauren and Jamie go onto the ride and say to the worker that's in the middle of the ride that they need to work on the ride. And the worker dude is just like, I so don't fucking care. Just LOL, two young people coming and taking over on this ride. He's like, cool, lunch break for me.
He's like, do your thing.
Yeah. He's like, say less.
And so as Lauren gets to work on the ride, maybe hooking up her prototype time machine to it or something, Jamie goes to meet up with the gang. Marissa, Randy, Blake, Pam, and they talk about the plan to try and stop/find out who the killer really is.
Shockingly, in a good friendship way, everybody's pretty down to fucking help.
They're all down to clown.
They're down to fucking clown around and kill someone.
Scary. They decide that they're going to use Marissa as bait for the killer.
This is so fucked, by the way.
It's so fucked. They tell her that they want her to go into the dollhouse of horrors, and she's going to pretend that she's there to give Randy head, I believe.
They literally say, Marissa, we're going to use you as bait because you love to give beach. You love to do it in this dollhouse thing, I guess. And she's like, but why me? And they're like, because it's
fitting.
It's fitting. And she does it. So I'm like, what the fuck?
She's like, all right, I've got a job to do. I guess I'll do it.
I'm also curious as to why this carnival is not more Halloween-y, or did I miss it? I want my money back. And nobody's wearing costumes except for some people.
I know. It is weird. But maybe it's not quite Halloween. So I don't know.
No, it legit is Halloween.
Oh, it is Halloween night. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So Marissa's about to go like be a victim and try to coax somebody to give them a beach. Also, fun fact, Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnyman is playing in the background. And
Ooh,
I love
that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while Marissa's, what do you call it? Tribute? I volunteer as tribute.
I don't know if she volunteered, but she's a tribute.
Okay, she's a tribute. So that's happening. And Pam and Jamie run into Kara, who is in a costume. So fucking good for her. Thank goodness somebody's in a costume.
In a pretty intense costume.
And she has a fucking scythe.
I just was going to say, she's the Grim Reaper and in a full Grim Reaper costume with a fucking scythe.
And she is kind of calling Jamie out and says, these killings didn't start until you came around. I know it's not my problem or her problem, but she hasn't seen 17 again. And sometimes you need to go back in time to find your purpose. So give Jamie some slack.
Give her a break. 100%.
Because she's about to help your life.
Well, and so Marissa goes to walk through the dollhouse of horrors and play the victim/the bait. And before she gets there, we see the killer walking towards her. And then we get a flash forward where we are in the future/present. And we see Chris with Amelia again. And he tells Amelia that he remembers seeing the killer stalking Marissa. As she starts to power up her time machine and hopefully bring Jamie back home, then we're suddenly back in the past again.
We go back and forth a lot here, folks. I still can't justify why Creepy Chris, or just Chris, is working so closely with Amelia. It just seems weird to me.
It's weird. Small town vibes.
Yeah.
Then back in the past, in the dollhouse of horrors, the gang has sort of set up a trap, a booby trap, if you will, to catch the killer. And Marissa goes about acting like she's trying to find Randy within the dollhouse of horrors to give him a beach.
Yeah, she's trying to give him a beach, and they kind of alluded that she likes to do this in the dollhouse of horrors. Like, all right, if you don't like the dollhouse of horrors, don't give beaches in there.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And of course, the killer falls for it. He comes in after her and runs into Jamie and Blake. And Randy also comes in, and they all are trying to sort of get at the killer. So Jamie ends up stabbing the killer in the back. And right before he tries to get her, Kara comes in and then stabs the killer really bad in the back with a fucking scythe.
That her fucking sheriff dad gave her.
So wild.
You never know when you're going to need a scythe, you know?
And of course he falls to the ground. I mean, he's just been stabbed with a scythe. And when they peel his mask away, they find out that Doug was the killer all along. And in a locket around his neck, they find a picture of Fat Trish. If you guys remember, we alluded to a little earlier in the episode. That was his girlfriend.
This was his girlfriend, and he was now getting revenge on the people who bullied her and made her essentially drink and drive because they were mean to her.
Totally.
And daggers. Don't drink and drive. Don't bully people, basically.
And you can tell that Jamie is pretty disappointed that her future mom would even do something like that. And as they're all talking around Doug, Pam is explaining that she was not friends with Tiffany that summer. So she had nothing to do with Trish getting drunk and driving home. And as this is happening, another killer comes out of the shadows and stabs Marissa. Kara has a gun and shoots at him.
Kara also is like, oh, my daddy gave me this too. So he gave
just loose rules back then.
Give her a scythe and a gun. What
Yeah.
else we got? Nunchucks? What up? While all this chaos is happening, Lauren is like, Jamie Betch, we got to get you to the quantum drop to get you back to your current time. On the way, they run into Norm Dubisage, who is Creepy Chris's dad, who is the Pulitzer Prize winner. Norm gets fucking yeeted by the killer.
Sad.
At this Halloween carnival. We hate to see it, you know?
Yep.
And Jamie jumps into the quantum drop. And is it the quantum leap or quantum drop?
I think it's the quantum drop. Yeah, I think Quantum Leap is a movie.
Sick. Jamie jumps back into the quantum drop ride, and she's doing this because like shit's getting fucked up at this Halloween carnival that's not even Halloweeny, which is daggers. But she's doing this to try and help her mom in the future, Pam. But shit gets fucked up because the killer also jumps in, and Pam also jumps in because I think obviously they have a bond. And Pam ends up getting stabbed by the killer, and she rips off his mask, and we get to see who this second killer is. Also, imagine trying to fight on this ride. If you've ever been on this ride, you understand what I mean. Like,
Scary.
you can't like lift your arms. So we discover that the other killer is adult Chris, and he's fighting with Jamie on the quantum drop. And she's like, what the fuck, dude? He basically admits that he's now killed her mom twice. I feel like that's not a Pulitzer Prize winning kind of thing, but okay.
Jamie ends up pushing Chris into the outer walls, causing him to explode. Because I think they mentioned a little earlier in the film that because of the gravitational pull, if you go to a certain point in the ride, you explode.
They turn into like pink mist.
Yeah. And he explodes into pink mist. This is just like Lauren said would happen. That was crazy. Jamie makes it out of the quantum drop and runs immediately home screaming her mom's name and finds her mom in present time wearing her fringe jacket. Oh my God, my heart.
I genuinely can't with this scene. It makes me so like
Daggers.
Yes. And it just makes me happy too. The first thing that Jamie does is say, I love you. And if you remember at the top of the film, she says, I wish I had told my mom I love you more.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
I know. Literally me too. It's just heartwarming and daggery, but hey, they're alive. So that's great. Also, why does nobody talk about how there's like blood on her face?
On Jamie's face?
Yeah.
You know, not a concern, I guess.
Word. Okay.
Well, her dad is there too, and Lauren and Amelia come in as well. Lauren and Jamie have a little moment where they go outside together, just them two, and they talk about how Lauren was waiting for her at the quantum drop, but got the time wrong because of daylight savings, I think.
Oh, that fucks me up too.
And she was so happy to see that Jamie made it okay.
Daylight savings time can fuck right off. That's all I'm saying. But also, she's having this conversation with adult Lauren. And why can adult Lauren remember all of this shit that's happened, but Pam doesn't seem to recognize that?
That is such a good question. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I'm just happy everybody's happy, you know?
Wow. Well, as they're talking, Lauren gives her a notebook of all the things that ended up changing with Jamie's presence in the past, including Jamie now has a 34-year-old brother. Something fun is that Jamie's name is actually not Jamie. It is Colette. And her older brother's name is Jamie, which I think is so fun. I loved this part of the film. Like, that's such a fun thing to happen at the end.
I'm like mathing because like this brother is significantly older than Jamie or Colette. I'm just like, okay.
The math might not be mathing, but that's okay. We're not going to look too far into it.
This is girl math. Also, adult Pam comes out when Lauren and Jamie are talking and said, your grandma called and sends her love. And I love that Pam and her mom reconnected, or like, I'm not sure how time travel works, but they are now on a speaking basis.
So sweet. Something has changed.
And so there's a difference there. That's amazing. As Colette is looking through all this shit, she's fucking time travel, dude. And she's so casual about it. She's just like, fucking time travel. Okay, Marty McFly. If you didn't watch the ending credits, you can see some like updates of where everybody lands at afterwards. But that's kind the movie.
Fun. Yeah. Fiend. And Ali, what were your final thoughts on the film?
Mixed emotions. I liked it as like a layman.
That's it.
I liked it as a movie, like a comfort film. I watched it a bunch before this. I've seen it probably 7 times. But then when I started to analyze it, I was like, oh, this isn't a good scary movie.
I feel like I had the exact same thoughts.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen it before until we decided to review it. I will say at first, I didn't care for it. I was like, oh God, this is just, it's so like other films to me. It reminded me a lot of The Final Girls. It reminded me a lot of other time travel stuff. But as I've seen it a couple more times now, it's growing on me. It's cute.
See,
it's cute, campy. It's cute.
And you know I love camp, and you know I love The Final Girls. And
it has elements that we like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that your final thought too?
I would say
just
so. Like, and I did like in the comedic way of her calling out problematic behaviors from the 80s and sort of making it a plot point, I thought were really clever and funny. And now knowing what Nanachka, the director, some of the other work that she has done, this film totally falls in line with that.
But was it scary?
Absolutely not.
No.
Would not call this scary. I don't even think that the killer was particularly scary.
No, I thought
creepy.
It was comedic.
I thought it was too.
Johnny Bravo from...
With a fucking dangly earring.
You and the fucking earrings, dude.
I don't know why I have such a vendetta against them.
I'm just going to wear one earring.
No, fuck you. No. The producer tries to do that to me sometimes, and I tell him no.
So we did not find this movie scary, apparently, but it was cute. It was campy.
What was your favorite scene?
Mine was when Jamie's in the gym and her mom is like talking shit to her and she's like, ay, mamacita. And she's like, oh, hablas español? And then she starts to talk shit to her in Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, girl, because I'm of Mexican descent.
A bilingual mama.
Yes.
And I am not, so that went right over my head.
I was like, hell yeah.
But I'm glad you caught that.
Yes. What was yours?
I think my favorite scene was when they were in the dollhouse of horrors, because I did think that some of the effects were pretty cool for a little haunted house. And I would like to see something like that in the future at some of the haunts that we go to.
No.
Oh, okay. No. Just kidding.
Just no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just joking.
One other scene I really liked that was daggery is when she returns to her mom, because you all know I love my mom and mom shit hurts me. So
It just gets you in your feels.
Gets me in my feels.
I did really like all of the acting from everybody. I thought everyone did a really good job. And I liked that they mixed the cast with a little bit of some older actors that we are very familiar with, that are very popular, with some new talent. And I'm excited to see if they do more stuff.
Sure.
But anyways, everyone, that was totally Kyle. I mean, totally killer.
Oh my God. Now I'm going to have to go watch Totally Kyle videos all night.
You really should. They're going to make you happy. As a reminder, you guys can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. You can find our podcast pretty much everywhere that you would listen. And if you love the podcast, we ask that you please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen, or simply tell a friend. Let someone else know who loves horror movies that you like this podcast and that you think it's fun. We love you guys, and I know that this is going to come out after Midsummer, but we can't wait to see a lot of you guys at Midsummer.
Maybe do or don't time travel. That's completely up to you. And always carry your fucking crystals and stay spooky fuckers.